evening, good evening. Let me move my cup out of the way, my glass out of the way even, and I'll put it here. There you go. Tonight's show is brought to you in association with Vimto. Other soft fruit-based cordials are available. Yes, good evening. It is 9 o'clock and it's Tuesday, the 16th of December, 2014. Very nearly 2015. And of course, next week, it's that day where we all eat so much and all the tryptophan, is it? Yeah, in the turkey. Send us all to sleep, watching whatever we're watching in the afternoon. And then we gorge some more and have lots of alcohol. So it's going to be good. Unless, of course, you don't celebrate that time of year, in which case it could just be a fruit pie and a cup of tea. But it's still all good, isn't it? Anyway, tonight I have with me this man.
Hello.
It's this man, it's Mr. Dibley. He's back this week.
Yeah.
He's looking very tired. He's poorly sick. Still poorly sick. I'm still getting over my poorly sickness. But we're going to be fine. It's going to be good, isn't it, Gary?
Oh, yeah, I might sleep. If I'm sleeping, don't worry. I've got it all to come tomorrow, because tomorrow is we did all the party stuff at the weekend, but tomorrow is my daughter's 7th birthday, so I'm going to be bounced upon in not the way that I would like to be tomorrow morning, to open presents and stuff for her birthday. So yes, I've got that excitement before the big day with the man with the beard comes down your chimney.
Yes, well, I'm surprised I didn't see you on the trampolines at the weekend at the video at the party.
Yeah, no, I was, but I refrained from getting that recording.
Anyway, we've got that coming up. We've got MFT coming up. I've got a little review of the year, really, as seen through the eyes of VaperScene through 2014 in the last segment of the show. So that'd be good. You'll see some bits from beginning of the year, and it's not in kind of chronological order. I've mixed it up a little bit, but yeah, that could be good. It could be good, yes, and Gary might sleep during that. But
Very
all that, all that is going to be after we have the titles. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. Yes, good evening, good evening. Welcome to this week's VaperScene with myself and Mr. Garry Dibley. And I'm just looking at chat there when the titles were rolling. And where is it? Vaping Loon. Have you ice cubes in that glass? My wife thinks I'm mad for having ice cubes in winter. Yes, I do have ice cubes in my glass. My glass. I always have ice in the winter, in the summer. I don't care. I like my drinks nice and chilled. And since my freezer produces copious amounts of ice as I want it, I always use it. Yeah, it's very good. Mm. Yes, there you go. The only problem is, when I made that, I didn't stir it, so the top half is quite watery. The bottom half is going to have all the cordial, so it's going to be quite strong. So I might leave the ice to melt, so it weakens it down a little bit. But anyway, yes, there you go. Don't forget, you can tweet the show using the hashtag VaperScene, and we will put up the tweets as we go. Also, we shall be taking comments from chat throughout the show. So if you've got any questions or comments or anything, just tweet us or put it into chat, and we'll do our best to get that information, the PC, onto the screen. Yes. So we're going to start this week. I've got some tweets talking about Twitter. I've got some tweets, and I saw this one earlier. Now, this is from Chris Choi, our friend Chris Choi from ITV, and he's tweeted, "Did e-cigs help you or did they not? Love to get views. Chris.Choi@itn.co.uk." So if you've got a story, if you want to tell Chris Choi how e-cigs have changed your life or not, if you're watching this, they probably have, then send him an email. Yeah, there you go. Chris.Choi@itn.co.uk. I probably think from that he's got a programme coming up. Yeah. I did tweet him earlier, as did Lorien. So you can always tweet him as well. And it's there, look. There we go. At ChrisITV. I'm sure he'll be most welcome of any input that he gets from us. I'm going to turn my microphone up slightly because it looks like it's a bit low. That's better. Yes, there we go. Yes, so talking about tweets and talking about Lorien, this is another one. Mr. Glance has been at it again, and this was tweeted earlier on. And apparently Mr. Glance said, "There is no question that e-cigarettes are a gateway to smoking," says long-time tobacco researcher Stanton Glance, a professor of the University of California, San Diego, not involved in new research. Yes, that kind of initiated some responses, one of which was from Clive Bates. There's no evidence whatsoever. Almost all there is points the other way. And if you look, have a search for that tweet, because there is loads of other responses. Yes, to that tweet. I can hear you giggling away there, Mr. Dibley.
Yeah.
You're on screen. Go on, tell me.
Am I? Oh dear, I can't say the T word then, can I?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Be polite.
I'll be polite, yes. He's a complete and utter twonk then, in that case.
Well, that kind of leads me on to another tweet. And this was from Dr. Christian Jessen even, from Embarrassing Bodies and other things. Why is the Lancet wasting our time by publishing pointless letters like this? And he's talking about this letter. There you go. You can't really see that very well, so here's an enlarged version. And this, I won't read it out to you. You can have a look. And you can search it out on Twitter. But this was written by Mr. Glance and Mr. McKee, amongst others, in response to Lorien's letter that was published in the Lancet some time ago. It's a whinge, and if you're whinging about people being horrible to you on Twitter, then either don't use Twitter or say things that aren't so contentious, especially things about smoking behind bike sheds and the like. And Lorien has responded in kind today on her blog. And again, I won't show you the whole thing. This is from the blog, The Exit Door Leads In. And it's quite a long blog post. And it is very interesting. And Garry has got all the links to these things over his side. And he will put them into chat later, won't you, Garry?
Yeah. Yes.
I've just thrown that on him.
Do I?
Yes,
okay.
the links are in the folder that I sent you earlier.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll open the folder and put the links in, as I should do. Can I just? My wife said to me, "What would you like in your stocking?" And I said, "Lorien." Leaving it there.
Yes, leave it there. Thank you very much. Anyway, yes. So Lorien has a really good response to that, and I'm just amazed that she's kept her composure, really. But she says in her little article there that about her conflicts of interests that she doesn't have, and yes, and she replies to the letter. I've got all the links actually as well, so I'll put it into our Skype chat, and then one of the team will put those in. Let's see what see what chat has to say. Let me go on to. I'll go on to you, Gary. You can have a little chat while I have a quick look at chat.
Chat? Yes, okay. About what? I haven't got a bleeding clue. Yes, I've got man flu. You know, for all you men out there, I'm sure you're going to sympathise with me on this one. I have a serious case of man flu, and my wife decided to hide my bell. That was by the bedside, and I was getting on quite happy with it. But she decided to move it to the garden, which led me to sort of get up and get moving again. Was that enough time?
No.
Okay. I'll waffle some more.
Give me a couple more minutes.
Yeah. No, we've got lots of good, interesting stuff coming up tonight. At some point, I will tell you next week. I was going to be doing the children need draw. The input hasn't been that great, should I say, this year, which I'll go through a little bit later on. But instead of that, as was said last night, we are going to be invaded, completely invaded, on the 23rd of December by the entire team. And we will be having a little bit of probably a mental session here next week. It's probably one tuning in for.
Yes, yeah, that's good. Yes, let me just go back to that. There we go. I can press that button now. Most stuff in chat I can't actually say, so there you go. But I have put a link into our Skype chat if one of the other mods can put that in. Leanna's got Marco's flu. Yeah, 3 weeks and it's still hanging on deep in there for some strange reason. Don't know why, but yeah, it's gone all around the country, this kind of flu-y, coldy thing. Very strange indeed. But there you go. Yes, so have a look at those tweets. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Now, that leads me on to another story I have here. And let's go to this. This came around earlier on in the MEN, Manchester Evening News. Outcasts, e-cig smokers left out in the cold as more venues ban the devices. Again, I've got the link for this story. I won't show you the whole article, but what there is a poll, and that poll says, should e-cigarettes or vaping be banned in public places? And this was about half an hour ago. No, 78%, and yes, 22%. So I implore you all, and the link is going to go into chat very shortly, because I'm just putting it into our Skype chat. I did share it on my Facebook page earlier. And there we go. That'll go into chat as well. Get on there and vote. It was 81% no earlier, so it had gone down by 3% in the kind of hour since I did it. Very strange, but still, overwhelmingly, it is a no. And thank you, Davey, who's just put it into chat for us. Yes, Rob said it was 80% when he voted earlier. So it's kind of up and down. You know, it's up and down at the minute. Who's voting yes, who's voting no? Obviously voting no is people like us who are vapers. And maybe some people who just want freedom for everybody. You know. I've got another story here, which is in the mail earlier. And it's kind of, I have to edit the pictures somewhat, just in case there's pictures in there that are copyrighted. But apparently more teens are trying e-cigarettes than normal tobacco cigarettes and lead them to become addicted, a study warns. Currently more than 400 brands of e-cigarettes available in the US. Researchers found a third of Hawaiian teens have tried e-cigarettes. Half of those surveyed had never used another tobacco product. Well, I'd much rather they tried e-cigarettes than cigarettes. That's my point of view. The other thing is, who did they ask? Were the questions loaded? And how old were these teens? Were they 17, 18, 13? Because let's face it, a teen is 13 to 19. So, you know, in this country, you can smoke cigarettes at, is it 17? Or is it 18? Did they change it? 18, I think. So, you know, you're still a teenager when you can do that. You're still a teenager when you can vote. You're still a teenager when you can join the army and go to war. So, you know, what more can I say? Mr. Dibley.
Still a teenager when you can have a full-time job, basically. So yeah, no, it's bonkers. I mean, we've got a teenager at our workplace, and she's been smoking since she was probably before a teen, and you know, you can't judge if it's a little bit ageist, shall I say? Because, like you say, when I was a kid, 16, you could legally buy. That you did that was with your national insurance card, because that's when you got it. At 17, you can drive a car. At 17, you can still drive a car, pass your test, go out and kill someone because you're not experienced at driving. Yet at 19, which is the higher end of the level, you know, in between all that, you can get married, have kids, do this, get a house, get a mortgage, get all that sort of stuff. So the teens is a complete and utter load of shite, in my opinion.
Don't hold back there, Gary. Don't hold back.
I won't. No, don't worry, I won't.
No, you can understand, you know, 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Yes.
But when they say teens, they're not quantifying, are they? Or did they? Let's have a look at the article. A bit more of the article. There we go. So, researchers from Dartmouth and the University of Hawaii Cancer Center collaborated in the 2013 survey-based study of 1,941 adolescents. Oh, so they're adolescents now, not teenagers, aged 14 to 15 years old in public and private schools in Hawaii. Cigarettes are highly taxed in Hawaii. Ah, well, there's the rub. And e-cigarettes, with their potent combination of lower cost and kid-friendly flavours, such as mango and pineapple, may be attractive to teens. I think, actually, that's about enough of that article. The whole thing about flavours being for kids just does my tree. Why is it that these people cannot understand that we as adult vapers, and I might say adult voters, like to vape on fruit flavours, whatever. I don't particularly like to use tobacco flavoured vape. I much prefer to vape fruit flavours, something sweet. I very, very, very seldomly use a tobacco flavour. That's just my preference. So why can't they get it into their thick skulls that we like to have fruit flavours? I'm getting a thumbs up there from Sam in our chat. Yes, so what does chat say? Hawaii, mango and pineapple in the same sentence, vaguely racist. From DTR. I don't know. And, X-Silent tried to sneak on the naughty step, I'm afraid. X-Silent 19, yes. Yeah, so the whole thing with flavours, it really just needs to be put to bed. The flavours are not there to entice children. They're there because so many of us who vape don't want to use tobacco flavoured vape. I mean, what do you use on a regular basis, Gary?
Strawberry Fields, basically. The Strawberry Fields, Peachy Fields, and the new one I've just got, which is it's Secret Juice, which is a marshmallow something custard, again from Strawberry Fields. They're all sweet. Whereas before I was tobacco, you know, when you first set out, you go down that course of trying all the different tobacco flavours, and then you hit something like an RY4 that introduces an element of sweetness to it, and it sort of wait a little bit and think, okay, maybe there's something else in this. And I think from the first time I tried something like an RY4, which had a little bit of licorice in, a little bit of probably I got melon from it for some reason, and toffee. You then start branching out into those flavours, and before you know it, you're off the tobacco and you're onto all these different, you know, custards, coffees, for example. The one thing that I've never seen mentioned in any of these things is kids are vaping coffee because they can drink that if they want to at home. You know, it's all about the sweets, and I don't know why it's all about the sweets, because I like sweets every now and then, and I get told off by my daughter for raiding her sweetie jar. Now, if that's a crime, then bloody arrest me, because you know, it's stupid. It's a load of cobblers. You know, enticing children into vaping is just one of those things that grinds me. It's, you know, and then the gateway to tobacco thing. If you want to take that, why would you go from vaping something that tastes like strawberries and custard to a Marlboro Light? Because the first time they try that, they're going to retch their guarantee you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I must say, Hi-Fi Stud has just tweeted me. He's tweeted the show, and he says, "I'm a youth with 45 years experience. I like flavours." Hashtag VaperScene. There you go. Hashtag VaperScene. And yes, I'm just looking at chat there. Cinnamon, spearmint, chocolate, custard. You know, these are all adults in our chat room who like to vape on flavours other than tobacco. What more can I say? I think at that point it's time for the first set of ads. So myself and Gary will see you in 2. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to VaperScene on Vapor Trails TV. VaperScene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection. And we are back in the room, as Mr. Garry Dibley would say.
Yes.
I don't know what you're on tonight, Mr. Hi-Fi Stud, but he's tweeted again. If only kids like fruity flavours, why do personal intimate lubes come in fruity flavours? I have no idea. I thought the idea was for lubrication, not to put it on your toast. But, you know, that's just me. Anyway. Moving swiftly along.
Did you say toes or toast?
Toast.
Okay.
Yeah, toast. Yeah, a little bit of toast. A quick look at chat. A lot of it I can't say, unfortunately. But yes. Okay. We'll leave chat as it is for now. Some things I just can't say. Maybe one day I'll just put chat up and then it's just there. And I'll just click to it and then you can see what chat is saying. And then I don't incriminate myself. Anyway, oh dear, I can feel a cough coming on. Let us go to Gary's VT this week. So would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Dibley?
Yes. If I can. Yes. This week we decided that it's been far too long leaving the block of it's still here, the block of acrylic sitting there. So I decided to to get it back on the lathe and have a go with what we had to hand, basically.
Right, so we're back down on the bench for another week, and the voice is huskier than normal. I've had man flu flat on my back for 2 days. Didn't know what day it was. I still don't. Hopefully I'm filming this in time for the show. We're gonna revisit this again. I've been having another think about it, and it's been off for too long. I've got my acrylic out, and I was trying to work out the bottom button on this particular piece of metal that I've got. That's all I'm going to call it. I'm going to use it. This is going to be purely for experimental purposes, just to see how it turns out. One of the things that I was looking at was how I can get this back on the lathe, because it was turning into an absolute pain in the bum. And I am just going to use this Nemi clone. I'm going to position up all of the gubbins to take an 18500, which is where I want it to be. When that's all in place, I need to measure up my tube, just leaving the switch sticking out, as was suggested by one of our lovely viewers. That's not the switch, that's the end cap. That's the switch. So I need to position that up so it's got some play in it, and I can adjust from the switch. I'm going to have to put a bung in this end to carry the pos, and I'll be taking it up to the little sprung-loaded connector that we got. The problem I had is how I was going to get this back on the lathe. And the way that I'm looking at this now, if I get this end fixed in first, I can use a method that I use for finishing the... Whoa, colour's gone all over the place. When I finish the drip tips, if that is actually fixed and secured in place, what that will allow me to do is put a carto in the top, like so, and that carto will then grip in the jaws of the lathe. On the other end, once I've actually got the tube in place, I've got a different connector on this rotating collar, which that will basically slide and center home in there, and all I'm going to do is put a bit of masking tape round here, and I'll be able to get enough pressure on that to get this all centered up and spinning. What it means is I've got to now work out exactly the length I need on this by adjusting the throw on the switch beforehand, because there will be a certain amount of excess that needs to come off this. Now I could leave it in that length, and to be honest, that's not a bad length. I may well cock it up completely trying to take this end off. I'm going to do it with the fret saw, so hopefully we'll be on that a little bit later. Now I'm not going to get a perfect cut with a fret saw, so there's going to be a hell of a lot of probably filing and sanding to get this to a level to fit the end in. Basically, the principles behind this are exactly the same as if you like making a pen, and I'm going to be doing some of that a little bit later this week as well. They work in exactly the same way. This is where we're coming from with this. Effectively, you would use a blank, a much smaller blank, and the pens come in kit form, like so. So within there you would get all your tubes and all your gubbins and all your bits and pieces to assemble a pen. And same scenario, you would lay out a smaller tube, mark off, get your two tubes to how you want your pattern, and they would go on the mandrel as we did before, and you would turn and go from there. I'm going to pop away and mark this up and see how we go. I mean, it's nothing to do with vaping, but I can show you a pen at some point if you want. Yeah, it shows you, if nothing else, a few principles on the lathe. Pop away, come back in 2. Hopefully I have this marked up, and we might get some power tools out. Somebody did mention there was not enough danger on this show. Well, I want to keep my fingers prior to Christmas. If come back in 2. Okay. I've got it to the level I wanted at, which is I've worked out me doodahs and what I need for that to work. So I'm going to go and measure that up. Now I must say this little ice stick is still kicking butt. I've got some new secret sauce, which is from Strawberry Fields in here, which is it sounds strange. It's marshmallow, custard, and something else. I can't remember what cog. It's marshmallowy, custardy. It sounds really bizarre. Nice. It's a little sample thing. So I'm roughly looking at. I've got to hollow this out a little bit more to where it needs to be. That's going to be my throw on the switch, which will be inserted up to there. Now my connector I'm working out roughly has got a depth of about there. So I'm gonna rough this, really rough it. But I need to mark off about there, and that is my cut off. That's where I need to cut. So I'm just gonna quickly score, or even draw. Yeah, some lines on there. All the way around. And this is working with this acrylic. It's a do or bleed in dye thing. It could all go to pot. Now I know you're probably going to say, why don't I take that off in the lathe? It's far easier with this sort of chunk of acrylic to smash it to buggery trying to par this off on the lathe. And that line's wonky as hell. So I'm going to run this through a little saw just to edge it off. Now I don't know whether the saw's man enough for the job. It might be. We'll soon see. We'll soon find out. I'm going to pop over to the saw and I'll come back in two. Right, so over the little whatever it's called, fret saw thing, makes one hell of a noise, and I've started to just cut through on here. Now it is probably going to be wonky as buggery and probably is going to need a lot of filing down, but this method has got far less chance of shattering the blank than trying to do it on the lathe. It's a big old blank, far easier to use something like this for cutting it. I'm going to power it up and see where we go. You do tend to have to easy in and out. You tend to get shudder. If you start getting shudder, it's time to ease up, because it's acrylic. It heats up very, very quickly. By error, I've done some myself where when using this, I've heated it up too much, and the blank gets caught, and it literally welds itself solid to the blade. The only way to get it out is to snap the blade, and realistically you bugger the blank unless you start again and cut a bit further in. Enough waffle, and power this up. It's going to be noisy, so stick your fingers in your ears. Every time I'm feeling a little bit of a shudder, I'm easing off on the blank. And you do have to grip onto the bugger. And if you're worried about my thumb, so am I. be much easier with some sort of a guide. I'm going to try and get a guide made up. There we go. As you can see, a nice clean cut through that blank there, and that is not as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest with you. I'll set square this up, and it's probably going to need a bit of filing down, but this stuff does file incredibly well. So we're down to sort of, that's, if you like, going to be a usable mod size. It's obviously going to be a lot slimmer than this once it's all done, but we're getting there. We're hoping, and you can sort of see, looking in there, the patterning that you're going to be getting from the material once this is finished up. These are great little tools. I use them a lot for the blanks. Relatively inexpensive. I think this one here, I went for a budget one purely because I didn't use it that much. It was a toss up between this and a bandsaw, and the wife definitely said I'd probably be safer with this than a bandsaw. Blades are relatively inexpensive. The whole unit is around about 69 quid, I think, delivered, which isn't bad. It's a nice little tool. You can use it for lots and lots of things. Still want a bandsaw. Got to convince her. I'm still working on it. She said if I can keep this for her and use that without losing any limbs, then she may well consider it. Let's hop away. I'm going to see if this needs much levelling, and I'll come back. Right, so I'm back down on the bench, and I'm literally just taking out a file and just running this. There was one edge. Just one edge that needed a little tiny bit. It's always best not to foul your hands if you can help it. Like I say, far easier to get this done and levelled now than it is doing it on a lathe. I think that is about it. A little bit more on this edge. Might just grab a set square, see where we are with that. 1 second. So my rusty as buggery set square, I'm just going across. There's probably a tad still to come off on that side, only a tad. That's got it. Little tad more. Now bearing in mind that most of this is going to be taken away anyway, because what we're going to be doing is mounting this down inside, so I've got to re-drill this now, which allows me to get this a little bit tighter, which is what I wanted. I'm going to be drilling a 9mm hole for this, and when that is now glued down inside and seated in, it's going to give me a very good fix. So realistically, I'm going to be building this mod prior to putting it back on the lathe. So everything's going to be embedded within it. And you see, and like I say, I've got to make up a bung for this end here. I've got to drill out a little bit more. Now I know this looks off center, but when it's in the lathe rotating, I'll have one edge. I'll show you what I mean by that. One edge will protrude more than the other once this is trued up, and effectively you'll just be working that one edge until it gets all nice and level again. We're there. We're going to give it a bash. We're going to try it. Forget waiting for the other mod. I've adjusted the switch on this, lubed up the bearings and this, that and the other, so this is now a damn sight better than it was when it arrived. Yeah, we'll get crack on with this, I reckon. We were going to be doing the raffle next week for the Children in Need draw. I'm going to prolong that by probably a month, purely because the donations that have come in just don't justify running the raffle at this point in time. If you do want to get involved in that, you still can. If you go over to UK Vapors in the competitions and charity raises, it shows you in there where to buy or how to buy the tickets and how to get added to the list. Hopefully a bit more interest, and we'll run that into January. I would like to see a bit more in there. We've got some new prizes coming. A big mother dripper from Mark Shaw, so thank you very much, Mark. That has now landed with me. So next week we'll have this hopefully glued up, ready to go, and we'll be back on the lathe cracking on with this. Don't have time to get this all done and glued up today because we're just about to head off for my daughter's 7th birthday party. Yeah, but we're back on. I will pop away. I will put you back to Marco in the studio, and we'll see you next week, where this thing should be spinning like a good one.
There you go. That was this week's MFT with Mr. Garry Dibley. We're going to go to the second set of ads now, and there's more when we come back. See you in 2. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
RY4 Radio.
And now it's back to VaperScene on Vapor Trails TV. VaperScene is sponsored by Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. And we are back in the studio after the adverts. Hello. And I was just watching chat throughout Garry's VT and also through the ads. You're all bonkers. That's all I can say. You're all totally bonkers. Now then, as this is likely to be the last show for this year, seeing as next Tuesday it's going to be kind of a mass Vapor Trails TV Christmas show, I've put together a little kind of review of 2014 as seen through the eyes of this show. Yeah, so sit back, get yourself a drink, enjoy the music, and have a little look at this.
Hello, hello, hello. It's me. It's a little vapor trail for you. Hello. Haha. It is I. How do? It is I.
Marco's Cigar-like Challenge.
Hello. Hello. It's Wednesday. It's the morning after the night before.
Buzzword of the Week with Dave Dawn.
Dave, what do you think of the Nicorette inhalators?
We shite.
Thanks, Dave.
And there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. That was kind of on 2014, seen through the eyes of this show. Yes, with plenty of reggae and dub in there. All good stuff. So we have gone very slightly over the 10 o'clock curfew. Apologies for that. But Gary and I waffled on far too much, didn't we, Mr. Dibley?
We did, and I love that comment. They are shite.
So listen, it's time to wrap up. Don't forget, tomorrow night you've got Matt with The Cave. And then on Thursday you have got Mr. Hi-Fi Stud, Mr. David Dawn himself. Will Keith be there? Who knows? Tune in and find out. Sunday there is no Dave's Tackle Box. And then Monday night it is the boys, Andy and Davey, with trips and tips. Get it right in a minute. And then next Tuesday we've got a huge Vapor Trails Christmas show. So until then, it is good night from Mr. Dibley.
Good night. I'm going to die now. I've got man flu.
And it's good night from me. We will see you on the big show next week. Take care. Thanks for watching. Tatty bye. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.